Okay, we're getting our first viewers in. Jared Smith here with the Carolina Weather Group. After a long night last night, looking at eclipses, tonight we have back to a little bit more normal for around here. We have a tornado warning that includes Newburn, North Carolina. Let's get right to it. This tornado appears to have been spotted by trained weather spotters 2 miles southeast of Newburn. Tornado near exit 416 and Highway 55 in Newburn reported powered flashes and debris in the air. Here's the radar, and let me go to the velocity here, and you can see that's a very strong. Let me get the storm motion on that strong velocity couplet that has come out of Newburn here. You can see kind of the track of this as it's moving east southeast. This should be this will honestly be leaving this polygon very shortly. But you can see as we go back and forth here through time, you can see that developed a hook echo, very likely interacting on a sea breeze boundary. If I had to take a gander at what was going on here, if we had some sort of a mesoscale boundary interaction here. Um, and as you can see, it's not nearly as well defined as it was. We'll use our rotation product to help kind of sort this out. And you can see here, got a little bit of elongated rotation still just now to the southeast of Newburn. But this came very close. It looks like this is very close by. We can see that the wind is out of the west at 15, gusting to 26 at the Coastal Carolina Regional Airport right now. So I have a question about a correlation coefficient drop, and not really seeing much in related to that. Again, when we're looking at Newburn here, we're looking at about 1,000 feet up. It's very possible that if this is a weak tornado, that it very well may have lofted debris, but not high enough for the radar to see it. And that certainly seems to be the case here. But you can see that there was that tight wrap. If there's one bit of good news here, is that we still have a little bit of a kink to this, but it is starting to weaken a little bit, as it looks like it's becoming more of a straight line wind threat. We'll zoom out a little bit. We have special marine warnings out for the Neuse and Bay rivers here. And this is going to be capable of producing water spouts. So that's what this warning is here for. If you're in Trenton, we had a question about Trenton. You are in a severe thunderstorm warning right now for the potential for considerable damage here, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. So while the tornado risk is to your east, the major concern for Trenton is going to be strong damaging winds. And you can see here, we'll zoom back out here, and you can see this line of thunderstorms coming through. It looks like it's starting to gust out a little bit. So you're going to see a little gust. We see a little gust front showing up on the radar there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pull in a little bit more as needed. So pull in a little bit more radar data so we can show you a little bit more about kind of how this has gone down. And you can see that hook echo had a pretty good looking hook echo as it went through Newburn, and is now starting to, fortunately, weaken as it gets outside of the polygon here. So we'll see how long they keep the tornado warning going for. But again, some very, regardless of the tornado risk here, certainly the risk is some very strong winds. Winds being measured by the radar here. In fact, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning now out ahead of it. So that tells me that we're probably not going to see an additional tornado warning issued beyond that, but we are going to see the threat for 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds approaching Oriental, Bayboro, Arafo, Minnesota Beach, Neuse Forest. Here we have this new severe thunderstorm warning, and you can see on the velocity here, this is just straight line wind, 50, 60 miles an hour, being measured by the radar headed out of Newburn and headed further south and east. I do suspect that the tornado warning will be allowed to go away, which is good news. We don't like that, but still, when it comes to severe thunderstorms, you can still get plenty of wind damage. You can still get plenty of trees down, power lines down, power outages. So we want people to be careful with this, regardless of whether there's still a tornado or not. And again, hail is also a concern with this, but the wind certainly seems to be the case. And the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, which is good news. But we're going to hang on to this for a few minutes. Want to kind of watch this and just make sure that another kink in the line doesn't try to form and try to kick in anything new here. Uh, but again, we have a couple lines of thunderstorms actually this evening uh, getting together. The sea breeze and a cold front are coming in and coming together here and producing some strong to severe thunderstorms, including one that did briefly produce a tornado warning for Newburn. So we're going to just so there's kind of the wide view of the Morehead City radar here. I'm going to go ahead and bring us back again. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire, so the tornado threat is no longer a major concern in Newburn. However, I do want to call attention to the fact that there could be some very strong winds out ahead of this line, and still that little appendage there that we'll keep an eye on, but it does not seem to be rotating at this time. Tilt up with the radar a little bit, see if we can see anything trying to organize aloft, and that does not seem to be the case. But again, some very strong winds punching in right now. We have severe thunderstorm warnings for 70-mile-an-hour winds for Trenton, Cove City. Although Cove City, I think you're coming out of the worst of it. It looks like the worst of it is pushing through Newburn right now, approaching Arifo, Bayboro, Oriental, and Minnesota Beach. Havelock, Newport, Morehead City, this could be for you for later. Jacksonville, we had a question about Jacksonville. You do have a thunderstorm in your area, but it seems to be getting itself together, but it's coming just south of you. The line is to your north. You're going to see a pretty good shelf cloud here coming through Richlands, Fountain, Half Moon, Maysville here, probably in the matter of the next 15, 20 minutes. So again, I think the important thing here is that the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. However, it does appear that a tornado did, in fact, touch down on Highway 55 in Newburn briefly here at about a little after 8:30. So that is certainly something that we're going to be wanting to keep a close eye on. And again, we're getting some. Unfortunately, we're seeing some wind damage here. And again, it doesn't have to be whirly wind for it to cause a problem. And this is certainly a case where even straight line winds are causing issues. Fences going down. And wow, trampolines, they love wind. Trampolines love wind. Goodness gracious. Jasmine, I'd be interested to know. Jasmine on YouTube was making a couple of reports there. I'm curious to know where exactly this is happening, so we can potentially get some information over to the Weather Service, as that will be useful. We're so again, this is punching through now. Some very heavy rain too. Trenton, Pollocksville, Newburn, up to Aurora. So again, we're getting reports in Newburn of a fence down, a trampoline flown into a car. Certainly a concerning situation there. Again, with a good bit of wind damage here, 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts is certainly a possibility. In fact, we're watching the Newburn Airport now, and it's the winds have turned to the northwest now as this line has come through. Sustained winds at 20, gusts to 41, and I suspect it's on the low end of the scale of what we're measuring here. Again, we'll have to go see. I might go pick out a couple of additional weather stations here as I open a couple more things up real quick. And let me go to wind alert here real quick. And we'll pull wind alert up. I'm not going to be able to show it on this screen here too easily, but that should give me I should be able to look at some of the additional maritime stations now that we're getting close to getting into around Newburn here. And beyond. We're starting to get towards the maritime areas here. See if I can't pick out any stations that might have some real-time stuff. Not really seeing much right now on that network, but we'll keep an eye on it for sure. It's, again, very strong line of thunderstorms coming into Newburn right now, and plowing through Bayboro, Arifo, or Oriental, Minnesota Beach, Havelock. You're very much next, very much in line for this. And outflow boundary stretching from roughly Beulahville through Richlands to Maysville. And this is where you can see your shelf cloud out ahead of some of the heavier rain. Now, the warnings do not extend back to places like Kenansville, Pink Hill, Beulahville, right here. Again, this is generally going to be a weaker part of the line further to the west here. It's this area right here with the yellow polygons that we're concerned about for for straight line wind damage and maybe even some hail. It's got the hail tracker up here showing potential for about quarter-size hail approaching Bayboro right now. So we'll want to keep a close eye on that. And again, we'll be very interested in your reports on this. We'll zoom out a little bit more and talk a little bit about, again, we have no active tornado warnings now on the board, which is a good thing, but we do have severe thunderstorm warnings. We have this one in Newburn, which has kind of triggered why we are here. Another cluster of showers and thunderstorms that's gone severe. It stretches from roughly a little bit north of Aner, South Carolina, in Horry County, across the South Carolina line, approaching Highway 701 through Tabor City, Whiteville, and so we'll see. 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail certainly seem to be the concerns with this area as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But again, right now, nothing on here is indicating to me that we have any imminent new tornado threats. However, we could see a waterspout or two. Could see a waterspout or two where there could be issues there. So Daniel Howard on Facebook here, Tryon Palace in downtown area without power. Thank you for the report. And again, you're probably not going to see a tornado anymore. But there is a lot of wind. There a lot. This is definitely to echo some of the comments that we're seeing on YouTube. Definitely a lot of wind with this, and a lot of lightning too. You can see all the lightning strikes showing up here on the overlaying the radar display. And again, right now, it's tough to tell. Let me get my rotation product out. And again, I'm still watching this area kind of splitting the difference here between Arifo and Minnesota Beach here. Enhanced area, a little bit of a tighter circulation that might be trying to get going here. We're going to keep an eye on that one here. So we'll watch that closely. Get a report now of power outages at Craven Community. Craven Community College. So so now we're getting into the fog of war here a little bit too on some of the tornado reports. So again, the Weather Service report. This is what the Weather Service had. This was called in by a train spotter a little after 8:30. A train spotter reported a tornado near exit 416 Pembroke Road on Highway 55 in Newburn. Reported power flashes and debris in the air. That's all I know. That's we'll jump out and see what else we can find on that. But that is right now that's the preliminary storm report. More will be learned not only tonight, but certainly it certainly sounds like there's going to be a storm survey that comes through here as well to figure out what the rating of the tornado is. Again, we did not see a major drop in correlation coefficient, but you don't need that for a tornado to cause you problems. Sorry. Lap dogs. Anyway, all right. So let's get that straightened away here. So again, really this bow echo punching through Newburn right now. This is this bow echo punching through a little bit of a descending little rear inflow jet action here. You can see this little notch right here just north of Newburn here. That's descending air. That's dry air rushing down, and that's where you can get a lot of that. That drier air is going to be more dense, and it's going to scour out some of the rain. So that's why you have that little drop in that reflectivity here, that bow echo pushing south and southeast. and that is drier, cooler air being transported rapidly to the surface, and that's how you get damaging straight line wind gusts. So, so again, let me tilt back down here, get closer to the ground so we can see kind of what's happening near the ground. And again, keeping an eye on this little guy right here. There's really not much to it. It's broad at best, and um, it doesn't seem to be terribly organized. But again, we still have this little appendage showing up um, uh, south of Arifo right now. Little appendage here, so I'm going to keep an eye on that, see if that might try and spin back up here. Again, with the way the water's configured and everything here, you can have some local effects that can help enhance that low level shear. And as we have apparently seen in Newburn tonight, could spawn a brief tornado. And again, I am looking at. Yeah, I'm getting some. I'm just continuing to get some additional sources of radar data up and running here, so we can bounce between a couple storms if we need to. And yeah, so we have the only severe thunderstorm warning on the board now is this one right here at Newburn, Bayboro, Oriental. Generally, a lot of Pamlico County, Vandermeer, Florence, Hoboken. This corridor is where we're most concerned right now for damaging straight line winds, 60 to 70 miles an hour, possibly. The rotation is that there's still. I'm not letting this go with this reflectivity hook. However, I will note that with the outflow surging southward, it's very possible that this is undercut and this is becoming a little bit more elevated. So we hope that that's what's going on here. But we'll certainly keep a close eye on that. Again, we pop our rotation product on. It's certainly not as strong as it was here just a few scans ago. And generally surveying the area, we'll zoom out here, surveying the area, not so bad in this neck of the woods. I have a question about Fayetteville. Not really much to worry about per se. You do have a few thunderstorms around, but again, the strongest storms are currently to your east, and they should stay to your east. Again, we have a cold front that is making its way through. That cold front looks like it's roughly in the I-77, I-85 corridor right now. I'm just kind of eyeballing the observations here. But for example, Asheboro is at 66 dew point. Greensboro has a 47 dew point and a wind out of the northwest gusting to 24. So I suspect that your cold front is going to be right in through here. And so, again, we are we're watching that closely to see if let's see. Let me check. So, we're gonna keep an eye on that. Just see if it can potentially kick off some additional storms. What I'm gonna do now is let's get. I'm just taking a look at what some of the. Just getting. Yeah. Apologies, I'm just taking a look here right now. Duke Energy reports 1,221 customers without power across much of western Newburn and the Trent Woods area. And again, I don't know about the condition of everywhere in Newburn right now, but as I learn things, we'll put them through to you. We'll stay here for the next little bit. Let some of these severe warnings at least bleed off. We have a second severe thunderstorm warning that I'll quickly jump us to, and that is out. This is closer to Wilmington. This is north of Myrtle Beach in Horry County, South Carolina. Tabor City, Loris. Again, a very strong signature of straight line wind. Of straight line wind approaching Loris and Tabor City, Highway 701 in Horry County, and a little tiny part of Columbus County in North Carolina across the border here. So we'll keep an eye on this for sure. But right now, not expecting any tornado threat here, but we could see some damaging wind gusts. And again, it's kicking out an outflow boundary. But once again, I can kind of show you the 68 North Wilkesboro, 73 Winston-Salem, 72 Greensboro. Ashboro is at 69, but the dew point is at 66, whereas at Greensboro it's 72, but the dew point is at 46. So it makes a big difference. It certainly makes a big difference in that neck of the woods here. So we'll keep bouncing back and forth between these. But again, I think one thing that's very important to note at the moment is that, again, we do not have any active tornado warnings in effect anymore. There was possibly a tornado earlier in Newburn. Again, news of a tornado touchdown of a tornado over the Newburn Bridge. Is this truly confirmed? There was a train spotter that did report a tornado in Newburn on Highway 55. The exact details are going to be worked out. Again, we're going to kind of be in the fog of war on this a little bit. We're kind of catching up too, as far as what's taken place here. But it does appear that, again, spotter report, tornado on Highway 55 near exit 416 in Newburn. And this train weather spotter reported power flashes and debris in the air. So that was at 8:38. And again, I want to make sure that everybody knows that there are no active tornado warnings. There are no active tornado warnings, not only in North Carolina, but anywhere in the country right now. There are no active tornado warnings ongoing here. The warning that's in Newburn now is a severe thunderstorm warning for straight line winds, 60 to 70 miles an hour, possibly with potential for some large hail. Go to the hail product though, and I'm not too impressed at this point. I think I'm more impressed with the wind potential than anything else. Again, we have some evidence of a bow echo now pushing into Arifo, Oriental, Bayboro. You're kind of on the north side of that in Pamlico County, not seeing any signs of rotation. And again, the tornado looked very short-lived. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to go back in time. And again, this is not the current radar image. This is going back to about 8 o'clock. And what we're going to do is we're going to trace the evolution of this bad boy. As it came out of Cove City, you can see that the Weather Service issued that large severe thunderstorm warning that included Newburn. But you can see here the radar beginning to pick up on a rotational signature. You see that little triangle there that my cursor's pointed at? That's a tornado vortex signature, and that ultimately persisted and led to the issuance of the tornado warning for Newburn. And again, we had some questions: is there any correlation coefficient drops? And it does not look like there was a debris signature. However, that does not mean that there was no debris being lofted. It was just not lofted high enough for the radar to pick up. So my suspicion here is that there was a weak tornado that did develop around Newburn. And again, a couple more frames, and there's your spotter report now coming in. This radar is as of 8:39. So this was yeah. So this was at 8:39, and now coming back to present time again, we still have a widespread damaging wind threat from Havelock to Minnesota Beach to Arifo to Oriental, moving into Bayboro now across much of Pamlico County. Newburn, you're still in some heavy rain, some gusty winds, but we are not seeing. But you should be starting to get through some of the worst of this here. But you are still under a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30. So that's for Beaufort, Craven, and Pamlico counties in North Carolina. And again, some reports around Trent Woods in Newburn. And again, we'll get as we learn more. If there's if there ends up being more to learn, we'll get it to you. There is a slightly suspicious area south of Pollocksville. I'm trying to smoothing off real quick just to see if that's legit. But again, it doesn't look like there's any low-level rotation with it. Maybe something a little bit higher up, but not seeing anything low-level that's concerning there. But we'll keep an eye on that. Certainly, anything that's hooking is something that we're going to watch. But again, the risk for damaging straight line winds really coming through Pamlico County right now. Bayboro, Oriental, it's coming up to you. You probably have a decent shelf cloud coming through there right now. Minnesauk Beach, Merrimon. Merrimon is just outside of the warning, outside of the severe thunderstorm warning, but we could see this extend to the coast here. So if you're at sea level, I think Morehead City, I think you're getting this may stay north of you as far as like the worst of it, the severe part, but there's still showers and thunderstorms making its way towards the coast. And I'll zoom this out here a little bit, put it in motion here so we can show you. And again, that's kind of showing you over the last hour what the radar has looked like. And you can see that the line of thunderstorms generally moving east and southeast. The little thin blue line ahead of it is a outflow boundary, and that is drifting south, and that could intercept that storm around Jacksonville heading into Morehead City, and that could help. That could help punch that up again for a time. Um, but for now, again, when we're looking at uh, the uh, the radar here, we have just two active severe thunderstorm warnings in the Carolinas. One in northern Horry County and a little sliver of Columbus County in North Carolina, and then another around Newburn here. So, and again, Newburn. This is that y'all have had quite a scare tonight with a brief tornado touchdown. It sounds like, and again, specifics and everything like that are not knowable until the weather service gets out and does its damage survey. That would probably be tomorrow, if I had to guess. It's the way these things usually work. So we'll keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, again, some certainly strong winds, very likely punching into Pamlico County right now. Uh, and Yeah, and Newburn again. You should start to see the rain begin to kind of back off here in the next little bit as the line continues to push east and southeast here. Again, I'm just kind of rocking the radar back and forth just to show you kind of this is the show you the signature that prompted the tornado warning. I mean, that's a pretty good looking hook. We would go to the velocity, and that has that classic couplet look, and that's what prompted the tornado warning. And then a few minutes later, it did indeed briefly produce a tornado. But as you can see, even that appendage now seems to have weakened considerably on the leading edge of this line. So again, the main concern now is going to be straight line damaging winds uh, pushing into Pamlico County right now, and with potentially eyes in Carteret County around sea level. So Uh, so again, let's reset this a little bit, and uh, we started here with the tornado warning in Newburn. That tornado warning has since expired and has since been dropped. There is no active tornado warning, not only in North Carolina, but nowhere in the U.S. at this point. There are no active tornado warnings on the board. Thing that we're concerned about right now is this the line of storms punching in to much of Pamlico County. Um, just relating some data back and forth here. So again, so so again, yeah, just trading some messages with folks. Just uh, continuing to get some ideas here. And again, this is a stormy night. I mean, regardless of whether you're under a warning or not, it is a stormy night. We have yeah, and stormy night in eastern North Carolina. Taking a look at the radar here again, cold front moving in, um, sea breeze intersecting that, and again we want to emphasize to folks that right now the main concern for much of Pamlico County at this point, Pamlico County, North Carolina, is damaging wind gusts. So we are gonna continue to keep an eye on this. And watch this here for the next little bit. Um, and again, the tornado threat is decreased significantly, but winds that are coming straight, winds that are moving straight at you, uh, can be just as damaging and maybe even more widespread than the winds that are twisting at you. So that is what we're going to want to watch closely here. Um, but yes, but yeah, the most important thing is that there are no tornado warnings on the board right now. Um, and that is that's the good news. Um, Again, I've yet to hear any damage reports directly from the tornado. I'm sure that they will be. We'll see what goes on. We know we have people without power right now, and there's been a lot of power outages. But I do not. But again, we'll hear soon enough. This could have been just a brief little land spout that came down, did its thing, and came back up. What I'm going to do here is actually, again, this is what this looked like earlier. As that tornado went right into, at least that tornadic cell went right into Newburn. Now you're dealing with rain. Now you're dealing with a lot of rain. And so some heavy rain downpours. I mean, we'll see, let me go to the local radar here. And this is looking at Wilmington right now. We may be dealing with we're going to keep it right here. So east of Loris, about ready to cross the North Carolina, South Carolina line in northern Horry, there's a subtle sign of rotation here. And when we look at that, there's your hook. There's some sort of hook signature here, and a very small little circulation that seems to be trying to develop in this is basically leaving Horry County, about ready to go to the far southern tip of Columbus County. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this. I've got a hunch. I've got a hunch that something else may end up happening here. So let me get that there. So, and again, I'm getting some. I'm just getting some additional info up. Again, we have it looks like they've extended the severe thunderstorm warning on this, actually. So we'll talk about this real quick. The severe thunderstorm warning until 10 o'clock. Loris, near northwest, just south of Lake Waccamaw. Freeland, Longwood, you're right on the edge of this. And this is again, the northern tip of Horry County in South Carolina. This is Columbus County getting into Brunswick County. Approaching the KLTX radar site here. This does not include anywhere in Myrtle Beach or anything like that. So if you're joining us from Myrtle Beach and you heard me talk about Horry County is a big county. There's a lot to it. This is, and again, the area of concern right here is just east of Loris. I'm going to zoom in on this guy again. There's no formal tornado warning on this yet. And I'm sure that they're just waiting to see, if this sustains itself. But certainly, it's hard to know if this is noise or not. But there certainly seems to be something there between the reflectivity and the velocity couplet here. So we'll keep an eye on this as we go. We'll go back to Newburn here. Um, and again, I'm going to keep one eye on that and one eye on Newburn here. Uh, so back to the Morehead City radar site, and again, Newburn, you're going to your rain and thunder. You're still going to have plenty of that, but certainly the main concern is where we have this punch. You see just this this little notch, this little bow echo right here approaching Oriental right now. That's where the risk for the strongest winds is going to be at the moment. So again, we're keeping an eye on that right now. Some very heavy rain certainly possible here as well. On the order of maybe 1.5 inches in an hour's time. So you may miss out on the severe weather, but you may very well not miss out on the heavy rain and potentially some street flooding in some spots as well. So that's going to be something that we're going to want to watch very closely. Bounce back to our lower storm real quick, the one that we were a little concerned about. And again, this is still a little bit of a notch here, but not seeing that rotational signature that was there very briefly. It looks like it probably has dissipated at this point, but you can see there may have been something there for a minute. And I, it may not have been enough evidence to warn. I would not be shocked if there was something there, at least very briefly, in that neck of the woods. So something to watch. We'll keep an eye on that right now. There is a severe thunderstorm warning on this for northern Ori, much of Columbus, and far western portions of Brunswick County, and that goes until 10 o'clock. All right. And we're going to bounce back we're just bouncing back storm by storm. And it looks like the severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire around Oriental and Bayboro. I'm going to go grab some information here from the Weather Service real fast. I'll read this out to you all so you know that what's what. Wait for this to load. Sometimes chat slows down, and it will sometimes run a little bit slowly. So we'll get there. But the point is that there is now no severe thunderstorm warning in Newburn, Oriental, Bayboro. However, very heavy rain. You may still see some gusty winds, but it looks like that the storm is beginning to get below those severe limits that we're most concerned about. As you can see, that wind signature is now granted the direction of the wind is now basically running parallel to the radar, to the radial. So it's possible it's possible that might have and it doesn't look like the collapse that it is, but I also don't think that we have but it's also the determination that this is beginning to weaken, and you're starting to see some of the reflectivity in this guy begin to die down. So again, the only active warning at this point in North Carolina is going to be in really the meat of it in Columbus County. There's a lot of lightning with this one, and I don't know why that's not loading here. I would like to know, what was the basis by which they let that expire. Yeah. Last word on the Craven, Beaufort, and Pamlico County warning that has been allowed to expire. Small hail, gusty winds, and heavy rain are still possible, and a severe thunderstorm watch does continue until 11 o'clock. So we could see additional stronger thunderstorms possible. Looking back into onto the Wilmington radar a little bit here. So we're shifting a little south here. And again, a strong storm popping up around Johnsonville. And this storm could very well be capable of some strong wind gusts and maybe a little bit of hail too. So 40-mile-an-hour winds, pea-size hail. Storm's 14 miles east of Lake City. There's Lake City, moving east at 25. So this is going to head towards, looks like this is headed towards Conway, Johnsonville, Hemingway, PD Crossroads, Poston, Britton's Neck, and Kingsburg. This is in South Carolina. So certainly something to watch here. No warning on it right now. We'll see. We'll see if it ends up strengthening to necessitate one, and if it does, then then we'll talk about that. But again, this radar actually does a nice job of showing what happened. Here's outflow boundaries colliding, and with the sea breeze, and that gives those updrafts that oomph that it needs to break that cap at least briefly before things begin to die down. Again, the better forcing, the better the better severe weather is going to be to the north today. By the way, if don't drag weather Twitter. It's not a good idea to. Prominent Philly media figure blasted the meteorologist there only for a pretty decent line of thunderstorms to come through later in the day. So weather Twitter is just letting him have it. But anyway, that's beside the point here. But again, let's quickly shift back to the Newburn storm real fast. And again, earlier we are here because of this guy, because they're apparently spotted a report of a brief tornado in Newburn a little after 8:30 this evening. Not hearing much more on damage at this point, but again, that could take a little time to get all of that sorted out. But a lot of the things that we check to see what the damage reports look like, what's come in there, those are pretty quiet at the moment. So fingers crossed that continues. And it's just a nasty cluster of thunderstorms. At this point, the only warning that's out here is a special marine warning. Again, not time to be on a boat by any stretch of the imagination. These storms are headed towards Emerald Isle, Morehead City, sea level, Havelock, but now have weakened below severe limits, at least for the moment. So that is good news. The only active warning we have is this storm that is in Columbus County. And this one is producing, it looks like it has a few pockets of very strong winds, 50, 60 miles an hour being picked up by the radar here. And pretty low to the ground too. Again, here's the radar site KLTX right here in Charlotte. And this is getting very close here. This is about 900 feet up. So certainly the possibility there for some of those stronger winds to be making it to the surface. So again, if you're in one of these areas, you want to get inside away from windows. This isn't necessarily tornado shelter or anything like that, but you just don't want to be you just don't want to be near the windows because wind can come through. You can get some strong winds through, and that can cause some problems here. So, lightning and thunder being reported there. Zoom out here. We have some questions around Florence, and again, you have some thunderstorms to your west. Nothing severe at this point. We'll see a few thunderstorms in Darlington County, and these are going to rumble through Florence in the next little bit. Behind them, you have rain-cooled temperatures in the 60s, but that cold front is still hung up much further to the north, and I'll get a source that I can kind of verify that here in just a minute for y'all. So I'm not going to be able to show it here, but I can at least give you an idea of where I believe the front is hanging up. So yeah, the front is still hung up, kind of coming through Charlotte right now. Charlotte to approaching Augusta. So you still have some time before the cold front comes through. Once cold front comes through, that ends the risk for severe weather. And indeed, we're going to start to see the severe weather begin to gradually decrease, just as a matter of, this is a matter of course. We're starting to lose some of that heating of the day here a little bit. We still have some decent upper level support. And again, the mechanical lifting from the front can often help in these matters. There's a little prefrontal trough that's helping to instigate some of this as well. And so again, this will be something that we watch here for the next little bit. And again, when I'm, the area of most concern at this point now is Freeland, North Carolina, right at the Brunswick and Columbus border. Some pretty strong winds. Looks like it's moving into Freeland as we speak. Loris, your weather is going to begin to improve here soon. Tabor City, you're technically outside of the warning, and your weather is going to be gradually improving. May have another storm behind you, but nothing too crazy at the moment. Again, watching this area right now, we have some pretty strong wind gusts being indicated by the radar. Straight line wind gusts, nothing whirling. And again, I want to make sure that this is clear as day. There are no more tornado warnings in effect. The tornado warning for Newburn has been allowed to expire. So that is good news. There was evidence of a spotter report of a touchdown. Probably what sounds to me like a brief touchdown in Newburn. Not hearing much in the way of damage reports from that at this point. So we'll and we'll hope that remains the case. So again, the main concern right now is this severe thunderstorm moving into Freeland from Loris in Columbus County, moving into let's see, let me just make sure I got this right. Yeah, moving into Brunswick County. So so again, in this area, we just want folks to be inside, away from windows. But the good news is no active tornado warnings, and we have not had. I'm not seeing any evidence on the radar that this is something that could happen again here. So starting to see signs that this is primarily just a straight line damaging wind event. Certainly serious, but doesn't necessarily necessitate us, staying on the air and live navigating this bad boy. But we still want folks to be just be aware of the weather for the next few hours. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in this area, and I'll try and get that up for you before I go. Let me get the watches out. I'm just going to do that. Let's go the watch fill. And there we go. So so this is the only severe thunderstorm watch in town at this point. So this, again, this severe thunderstorm watch just for a few spots in eastern North Carolina at this point. Once this line gets through, I suspect this severe thunderstorm watch is going to be gonzo, hopefully well before the 11 o'clock expiration time. So again, you will be just watching this here, just reading some additional information here. But again, the severe threat will be winding down, and so as a result, what we're going to do is again, keep an eye on your weather sources here for the next little bit. Carolina Weather Group, Carolina WX Group on Twitter. We'll have warning updates there. We have, we'll be rejoining traditional programming on the Carolina Weather Net here in a matter of moments. So again, folks, it does appear that there may have been a brief tornado in Newburn. That threat has ended. Obviously, we're going to try and learn more about that. And we'll bring that to you as we learn more. There'll probably be a survey tomorrow. And so keep an eye on all the Carolina Weather Group platforms, and we'll pass that along to you. But for now, the tornado threat has ended. And so we're going to go ahead and stand down from storm warning coverage. I'm Jared Smith out of Charleston, South Carolina, for the Carolina Weather Group. Thank you all for watching, and please be safe for the rest of the evening, and look forward to a little bit better day tomorrow. Again, keep an eye on us. We'll be, and with any luck, we won't be back. But if we need to be back, we will. So again, have a great evening and be safe, and we'll talk.